As we begin, I want to thank Kingdom Culture TV for bringing my research to life, and my dear friend, Fred Jabber of J. Fredericks Clothiers for outfitting me. In the last presentation, I presented the finding of communication. Again, in the discourse between the same-sex community and the Black church, the most stated of the findings was communication. A very close second in occurrences was the theme of disclosure. I defined as a researcher disclosure as the desire of the Black church to know the sexual orientation of those attending and participating in worship services. For clarity, the study only mentions disclosure for members of the church, not visitors. By far and away, this finding is the most interesting to me because of how personal it is on both sides. Again, what makes the Black church special is how relational it is, particularly in the South, where my research is centered. There is an interconnectivity where families often worship together. Y'all know what I'm talking about, in the family church for generations. At times, families intermarry in the church where the son of one family marries the daughter of another in the same church, and the family unit expands in that same church. So everybody knows their story and knows their life together, and they become a part of the broader history of the church. It is a beautiful thing, right? Of course it is, but this study is just not about relationships, it's about ministry. And the ministry leaders interviewed have said that ministering to the same-sex community in their church would be more difficult if the sexuality of someone in the SSA community is unknown. Every community, in every church, there's that one church that has a choir director, you know what I'm talking about, that can make a Hammond holler, and it's stereotypical, and then have the choir sounding like they're ready to go with Chandler Moore or Ricky Dillard, ready to hop on tour with Kirk Franklin. They can make an ordinary choir sound amazing. Y'all know there's always that one young man in the praise team that when he gets up and starts singing, people start whispering about him because he looks like a tenor, but he sings soprano. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. This thought underscores the communication theme and how awkward of a conversation it could have the potential to be. A pastor can't walk up to somebody and say, I want to minister to you, but I need to know whether you're in the SSA community or not. In no world does that conversation ever happen like that. Alternatively, rarely in the SSA community, attending a Black church in the South would ever anybody lead their conversations like that. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, and it's private. To overstate the purpose of this study, it's that there are barriers prohibiting ministry on both sides. And I want to help that through my research findings. So what cannot be ignored is that caution in ministry should always have its place. The gospel calls each of us to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ, but the Bible also presents the value of confession in ministry sessions for godly growth. But a place has to exist where people can effectively find biblical truth in love and not in social culture or conjecture. In a Black church, many prefer to handle their life matters personally rather than disclosing them because of what happens after the declaration. They'll be separated from a community that they've known all their lives. The abiding question is that if they disclose, would their ministry leadership do like Jesus taught in the parable? Would they leave the 99 to pursue that one? Does your church have a place? Is it the pastor's office, a counseling center on campus, or community center where people can share their true hearts? Or is the altar the only place? I want to hear from you on the theme of disclosure. Please let me know your thoughts. If you're a pastor or a ministry leader, please share with what you're doing if it's working, or if you got something in the pipeline that you're working on. If you're in SSA, if you're in the community and attending a church that works for you, drop me a comment or a DM. I want to hear from you. Let's walk through this together. Again, the theme is disclosure. Let's talk about it. I'm Dr. Travian L. Capers, and this is Pulpit and Pew.